The cold bit deep in Montana territory that winter of 1884, the kind of cold that turned breath to frost before it left a man's lungs, the kind that made horses stumble and strong men question their choices. Cole Mackenzie questioned his choices often these days. He sat hard in the saddle, his horse's hooves pounding through 2 feet of fresh snow. Ahead of him, 3 riders scattered like crows. They had stolen 6 head of cattle from his north pasture. 6 head might not sound like much to men with full herds, but to Cole, it was the difference between making it through spring or losing everything. His rifle bounced against his back as he leaned low. The wind screamed past his ears. He had already lost 2 riders in the trees. The third one, the one with red hair flying behind him like a warning flag, was pulling ahead. Cole fired a warning shot into the air. The sound cracked across the valley like breaking ice. The red-haired rider didn't slow. Instead, he veered sharply left, disappearing into a dense wall of lodgepole pines. Cole followed without thinking. The branches whipped at his face. Snow fell from above in heavy clumps. His horse stumbled once, twice, then found footing. Then he heard the scream. A woman screamed, sharp and terrified, cutting through the wind like a blade. Cole burst through the tree line into a small clearing. What he saw made his blood run colder than the air around him. 2 men on horseback. One was the red-haired thief. The other was older, with a gray beard crusted with ice. Between them, collapsed in the snow, was a woman. Apache by the look of her buckskin dress and dark braided hair, blood stained her temple. Her hands were raised not in surrender, but in defiance. The red-haired man had his pistol aimed at her head. The gray beard was reaching down, trying to grab her arm. Cole didn't think. Thinking got men killed. He pulled his rifle in one smooth motion and fired. The red-haired man jerked backward. The bullet caught him square in the forehead. He toppled from his horse like a sack of grain, dead before he hit the ground. The gray beard spun clawing for his own weapon. Cole fired again. This shot took the man in the chest. He clutched at the wound mouth, opening and closing like a fish on land. Then he fell too. His horse bolted. The body dragged for 10 feet before the boot slipped free from the stirrup. Silence rushed back in. Only the wind. Only Cole's harsh breathing. Only the woman collapsed in the snow, staring up at him with wide, dark eyes. Cole dismounted slowly. His hands were shaking, not from cold, from what he had just done. 2 men dead in under 10 seconds. He had killed before, in the war. But that was different. That was orders. This was choice. He walked toward the woman, rifle still ready. She didn't move. Her hand was clutching something against her chest, something small and metallic that caught the weak winter light. A locket. It had fallen open in her grip. Cole could see it from 5 feet away. Inside 2 photographs. One showed an Apache warrior, young and proud, with a distinctive burn scar on his bare shoulder. The scar was shaped like a sun with rays spreading outward. The other photograph showed a white woman with kind eyes. Cole's vision tunneled. His hands went numb. That scar, that face. 4 years ago, Canyon Diablo, the raid at dawn. His memory slammed into him like a physical blow. The smell of gunpowder, the screams, the orders barked by Lieutenant Crane. Target at 2 o'clock. Fire. Fire now, private. The young warrior falling. The sun scar visible even from a distance. The reaching hand. The blood in the dirt. Cole had pulled that trigger. He dropped to one knee in the snow. The locket fell from the woman's grip. She was trying to sit up, dazed, bleeding. He should help her. He should check if she was hurt. But all he could do was stare at that photograph. The woman spoke. Her voice was hoarse but clear. In English. Perfect, educated English that shocked him almost as much as the locket. They were taking me to the marshal. There's a bounty. I killed a man. Cole's head snapped up. He looked at her fully for the first time. She was younger than he first thought. Maybe 26 or 27. Her face was angular and strong, beautiful in a fierce way. But it was her eyes that held him. They weren't pleading, they weren't grateful. They were watching him the way a trapped animal watches the trapper, deciding if he was another kind of danger. Cole found his voice. It came out rougher than he intended. "You speak English." "Mission school," she said. "Before everything." She touched her temple, winced. Her fingers came away bloody. "You killed them. Why?" "Thought you needed help." "Now you know different. I am wanted. You should leave me here." Cole looked at the dead men. At the woman, at the locket in the snow. His mind was racing. These weren't cattle thieves. They were bounty hunters. Papers would be in their pockets. Papers with her name. Papers that made her valuable to someone. And she was the sister of the man he had killed. She had to be. That scar. Identical. Tribal marking maybe. Family marking. Guilt rose in his throat like bile. "Can't leave you," he said finally. "Why not?" He couldn't answer that. Couldn't say because I owe you. Because I took everything from you and you don't even know it yet. Because leaving you here to freeze would be the same as pulling that trigger 4 years ago all over again. Instead he said, "Because it's not right." She studied him for a long moment. Then slowly she nodded. Not trust, just acceptance of reality. She was hurt. The storm was coming. 2 dead men lay in the snow, and if anyone found them, questions would follow. She had no choice but to come with him. He offered his hand. She didn't take it. She stood on her own, swaying slightly. He retrieved the locket, held it out. She snatched it back, clutched it to her chest like a lifeline. "What's your name?" he asked. "Ayesha." "Cole. Cole Mackenzie." She said nothing, just watched him with those sharp, assessing eyes. He gestured to his horse. "Can you ride?" "Yes." "Then we need to move, before someone comes looking." She climbed up behind him without another word, her arms wrapped around his waist for balance. He could feel her shaking. From cold or shock or fear, he didn't know. Maybe all 3. They rode in silence. The journey back to his ranch took over an hour. The snow was getting heavier. The temperature was dropping. Cole's thoughts spun in circles. He had killed 2 men. He was bringing a wanted fugitive to his home. And she was the sister of a ghost that haunted his sleep. What kind of God let this happen? Behind him, Ayesha held on tight. She said nothing, but he could feel her eyes on the back of his head, studying him, trying to figure out what kind of man he was. Cole wasn't sure he knew anymore. When the ranch finally came into view, it looked small and sad against the vast white landscape. The cabin needed repairs. The barn leaned slightly to the left. The fence posts were rotting. 3 years of drought had taken their toll. 3 years of working alone had worn him down to the bone. An old man stepped out of the bunkhouse as they approached. Silas Crane. 62 years old, weathered as old leather, and the only hired hand Cole could still afford. Silas had a shotgun in his hands. He lowered it when he recognized Cole. Then he saw Ayesha. His face went white. Not surprise, terror. It was only there for a second. Then Silas's expression went neutral, carefully blank. But Cole had seen it. And more importantly, Ayesha had seen it too. Her grip on Cole's waist tightened. "Cole," Silas said carefully. "What's this?" "Found her being hunted. Couldn't leave her." Cole dismounted, then helped Ayesha down. She stood beside him, chin raised, refusing to show weakness. Silas stared at her. His throat worked. "She Apache." "I noticed." "Wanted Apache by the look of it." "That too." Silas pulled Cole aside, voice low and urgent. "What in God's name are you thinking? You bring trouble here. Big trouble." "I know what I'm doing." "Do you?" Silas's eyes searched his face. "Do you know what these people are capable of?" Cole felt a flash of anger. "These people. She's one person, Silas. One woman who was about to get killed, or worse. You don't understand the history, the raids, the violence." "I understand plenty." Cole's voice was hard. "I was there, remember, at Canyon Diablo." Silas flinched. Something passed across his face. Old pain, old guilt. He looked at Ayesha again, then back to Cole. "Just be careful, this ends bad. I can feel it." Cole didn't argue. Deep down, he felt it too. He led Ayesha to the cabin. It was small, one room really. A bed in the corner, a table and 2 chairs, a wood stove that barely kept the cold at bay, rifle rack on the wall, shelves with supplies, everything a man needed to survive alone, which was what Cole had been doing for 3 years, surviving alone. Ayesha stepped inside and immediately began scanning, looking for exits, for weapons, for threats. Her gaze landed on a small photograph on the shelf, a woman, white, pretty, smiling at the camera. "Your wife?" Ayesha asked. Cole's chest tightened. "Was. She died 3 years back. Fever." Ayesha nodded, said nothing more, but something in her expression softened, just a fraction. Cole moved to the stove, started building up the fire. "You can take the bed. I'll sleep in the chair." "I can sleep in barn?" "No, too cold." "You don't trust me." He turned to face her. "Do you trust me?" Silence hung between them. Neither answered because neither could. Trust wasn't something you gave a stranger, especially not when blood and secrets lay between you. "I'll heat some water," Cole said finally. "You can wash up. I'll turn my back." He did as promised, heated water in a basin, set it by the bed, then turned to face the wall. He heard her move, heard the rustle of fabric, heard the quiet splash of water. And in his peripheral vision, just for a moment, he saw bruises on her ribs, old ones faded to yellow and green, newer ones dark purple. And there on her left shoulder the same burn scar he had seen in the locket, the same sun shape, the same rays spreading outward, identical to the warrior he had killed. His hands clenched into fists. His heart hammered. She was his sister, had to be. Same tribe, same marking, same grief. Cole had taken her brother from her, and now he was the one keeping her alive. The universe had a cruel sense of irony. When she was dressed again in one of his spare shirts that hung nearly to her knees, she sat by the stove. The locket was open in her hands. She stared at the photograph of the young warrior. Cole couldn't help himself. He had to know. "Who is he?" She didn't look up. "My brother, Dakota. He died 4 years ago." "How?" "White soldiers. Raid on our village. He tried to protect us. They shot him down like a dog." Her voice was flat, emotionless, like she had told this story so many times it had lost its power to hurt. But Cole could see her hands. They were shaking. "I'm sorry," he said. The words felt hollow, useless. "Are you—" Now she looked at him. "You were soldier. I see the scar on your hand. Cavalry scar. Did you kill Apache?" This was it. The moment. He could tell her the truth. Could confess. Could say, "Yes, I killed your brother. I'm the one who destroyed your life. I'm the reason you're alone." But the words stuck in his throat. Instead he said, "I did what I was ordered to do. That is not an answer. It's the only one I have." She stared at him for a long time. Then she turned back to the fire. "You are a haunted man, Cole Mackenzie. I see it in your eyes. Whatever you did, it eats you." She was right, but he couldn't admit it. Not yet. Night fell hard and fast. The temperature plummeted. The wind howled around the cabin like a living thing. Cole sat in his chair by the stove rifle across his lap, pretending to sleep. Ayesha lay in the bed, curled on her side, clutching the locket. Neither of them slept. Both of them thought. Ayesha wondered if the man who saved her was also the man who killed her brother. Yellow hair, cavalry scar, haunted eyes. It could be him. Or it could be any of 100 soldiers who looked the same. Cole knew. The scar had confirmed it. But how could he tell her? How could he say the words that would turn her grief into rage? How could he ask for forgiveness when he hadn't forgiven himself? The cabin creaked. The fire popped. Outside, snow continued to fall, burying the tracks, burying the bodies, burying the truth under layers of white. At some point near dawn, Cole finally closed his eyes. When he opened them again, pale light was filtering through the gaps in the shutters. The fire had burned down to coals. Ayesha was already awake, sitting by the window, staring out at the endless white. He stood, stretched, started rebuilding the fire. "You talk in your sleep," she said without turning around. His hands stilled. "What did I say?" "Names, places. Canyon Diablo." His blood turned to ice. She turned to face him. "You were there. At the raid." It wasn't a question. Cole nodded slowly. "Yes." "Did you see my brother die?" His throat closed. He couldn't breathe, couldn't speak. Finally he managed, "I saw a lot of men die that day. But did you see him, Dakota young warrior, sunscar on his shoulder? Ayasha, did you see him?" "Yes," Cole whispered. "I saw him." She stood, walked toward him. Her face was unreadable. "Did you kill him?" This was it, the moment of truth. He could lie, could say, no, it was someone else, could protect himself, but he was so tired of lying, so tired of carrying the weight alone. "I don't know," he said, and it was partially true. He had fired. Others had fired. In the chaos, who could say which bullet had ended, which life, but he knew. Deep down, he knew. Ayasha searched his face, looking for the lie, looking for the truth. Whatever she found, she didn't share. Instead, she said, "You saved my life yesterday, 2 men dead by your hand to protect me. Why, because it was right, or because you owed me?" He had no answer for that. She turned away. "I don't know if I should hate you or thank you. Maybe both." The day passed in awkward silence. Ayasha helped with small tasks, carrying firewood, feeding the chickens. She moved with the efficiency of someone used to work, used to survival. Silas came by mid-morning. He still wouldn't look at Ayasha directly. Cole noticed. So did she. "Storm's coming," Silas said. "Big one. Could last days." "We're prepared," Cole replied. "Are you?" Silas's eyes flicked to Ayasha, then back. "Really prepared for what's coming?" "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing. Everything." Silas shook his head. "Just watch yourself, Cole." After he left, Ayasha spoke. "That man fears me, not because I am Apache, because he knows something. Silas is old, set in his ways. No is more than that. He looked at me like he saw a ghost." She was more perceptive than Cole had given her credit for. That evening, after a quiet meal of beans and bread, they sat by the fire again. The silence between them had changed. No longer hostile, but not comfortable either. Just 2 people trapped together by circumstance and secrets. Ayasha finally spoke. "The man I killed, Yiska Pike. He was half-breed. White father, Apache mother. Both sides hated him. His brother, too. Jorah." "Why'd you kill him?" She was quiet for a long time. "Then he came to my tent, 3 months ago. Tried to force himself on me. I had a knife. I fought. He died." Cole's jaw clenched. Self-defense. White law does not see it that way. Apache law also complicated. I bring shame to my people, shame to myself. Shame for defending yourself. Shame for being alone, for surviving when my brother did not, for being woman with no protector. She looked at the locket. Dakota would have killed Yiska before he ever got close, but Dakota is dead. Your brother would want you alive. How do you know? Because anyone who loved you would want that. She looked at him, really looked. And for the first time he saw something other than suspicion in her eyes. Maybe not trust, but possibility. "You are a strange man, Cole Mackenzie. You killed 2 men to save me. You let me into your home. You do not ask for anything. Don't need anything. Everyone needs something." He couldn't argue with that. The storm hit that night with a vengeance. Wind screamed. Snow hammered against the walls. The temperature inside the cabin dropped despite the roaring fire. Ayasha wrapped herself in blankets, but still shivered. Cole saw, remembered the war, remembered men freezing to death despite being just feet from fires. "Come here," he said quietly. She looked at him warily. Body heat. Only way to survive this kind of cold. She hesitated. Then, practical as ever, she moved closer. They sat together by the stove, sharing warmth. Not intimate, just survival. "Tell me about your wife," Ayasha said after a while. Cole was surprised. "Why, because you loved her. I see it in your eyes when you look at her picture. Because I want to know if you're capable of love or only guilt." "Fair question," "Emma," he said. "Her name was Emma. Met her in town 6 years ago. She was a teacher. Kindest person I ever knew." His voice roughened. "She got sick 3 winters back. Fever. I couldn't get the doctor in time. Snow was too deep. By the time I did, she was gone." "You blame yourself. Should have tried harder. Should have left sooner. Should have, Ayasha repeated. "You carry many shoulds, Cole Mackenzie. Shoulds for your wife. Shoulds for war. When do you put them down?" "Don't know if I can." "Then you will die with them. Heavy burden to carry to grave." They sat in silence after that. The storm raged on. At some point exhaustion won. Ayasha's head dropped against his shoulder. She didn't pull away. Neither did he. For the first time in 3 years, Cole felt something other than emptiness. It wasn't happiness, wasn't peace, but it was something. A crack in the wall he had built around himself. He didn't sleep. Couldn't. Too many thoughts, too many fears. But he stayed still, letting her rest, and wondered what tomorrow would bring. When dawn finally came, the storm had passed. The world outside was buried under 3 feet of fresh snow, beautiful and deadly. Ayasha woke slowly, realized where she was, pulled back quickly. "Sorry," she said. "Don't be. You needed rest." They moved around each other carefully that morning, a new awkwardness. Something had shifted in the night. Some invisible line had been crossed. After breakfast, Cole made a decision. He couldn't keep her hidden forever. Supplies were running low. He needed to go to town. And if he left her alone, there was always the chance someone would come looking. "Get dressed," he said. "We're going to Tin Cup Junction." Her eyes widened. "Town number 2 dangerous." "More dangerous to stay here without supplies. And if I go alone, people will ask questions. Better they see you with me, under my protection. They will hate me. Some will, not all." She didn't look convinced, but she understood the logic. She dressed in men's clothes, pants, coat, hat to hide her hair. "Keep your head down. Don't talk unless you have to." They rode together, her behind him, on the horse. The journey took over an hour through the deep snow. Tin Cup Junction wasn't much. 20 buildings clustered around a muddy main street that was currently frozen solid. General store, saloon, church, blacksmith, a few houses. Population maybe 60 in winter, double that in summer when the ranchers came down from the high country. Cole felt eyes on them immediately. Word traveled fast in small towns. Someone had already spotted them, already started talking. By the time they reached the general store, a small crowd had gathered. Marcus Dalton stood outside, arms crossed. He was a big man, 52 years old, weathered face, hard eyes. He owned the largest ranch in the valley, which made him the closest thing to law outside the marshal's jurisdiction. He stepped into Cole's path. "Mackenzie, heard you had a visitor." Cole kept his voice neutral. "News travels. Indian visitor." Marcus's eyes went to Ayasha, still partially hidden behind Cole. "In your cabin." "My business." Marcus stepped closer, close enough that Cole could smell tobacco on his breath. "Becomes my business when savages near my land. We had trouble before. Lost my boy to Apache 4 years back. Don't make me remind you where your loyalties should lie." Cole's voice dropped to something cold and dangerous. "My loyalties are my own." They stared at each other. 2 men used to being in charge. 2 men who wouldn't back down. Finally, Marcus stepped aside, but his eyes promised this wasn't over. Cole dismounted, helped Ayasha down, kept his hand near his gun as they walked into the store. Ezra Mills, the shopkeeper, froze when he saw them. His eyes went wide. But he was a businessman first. Morals came second to money. "Sheriff Mackenzie, what can I get you?" Cole wasn't sheriff, never had been. But people called him that sometimes because he wore a deputy's badge from time to time when the marshal needed help. He didn't correct Ezra. Let the man think what he wanted. Flour, coffee, salt pork, ammunition. Ezra gathered the items quickly, kept glancing at Ayasha. She stood by the door, head down, hands in her pockets, trying to be invisible. As Cole paid, a young woman entered, Rebecca Dalton, Marcus's daughter, 24 years old, blonde hair, kind eyes. She worked as a teacher for the few children in town. She looked at Ayesha, then at Cole, then made a decision. "Mr. Mackenzie," she said quietly, "if you need anything, supplies, help, come to me, not my father." Cole was surprised. "Miss Dalton, my father doesn't speak for everyone." She glanced at Ayesha. Something passed between the two women. A moment of understanding. Then Rebecca left. Outside, a priest approached. Father Benedict, 58 years old, gray-haired, gentle manner. He ran the mission school 20 miles east. He looked at Ayesha, and his eyes widened in recognition. "Ayesha," he said quietly, "my child, what happened?" She lifted her head, saw him. Relief flashed across her face. "Father." He pulled Cole aside. "Mr. Mackenzie, I taught this girl. She learned English at my school. She is a good person. Whatever she is accused of, there is more to the story. She's wanted for killing a man." Father Benedict's face grew sad. "Yiska Pike. Yes, I heard. I also heard what Yiska did to other women before her. Self-defense is not murder in the eyes of God. It is in the eyes of the law. Then the law is wrong." He looked at Ayesha. "Keep her safe. I will help however I can." They left town quickly after that. Cole could feel eyes following them, whispers starting. By tomorrow everyone would know. The rancher Cole Mackenzie was harboring an Apache fugitive. The consequences would come soon enough. They rode in silence until they were halfway home. Then Ayesha spoke. "That man, Marcus, he lost son to my people. 4 years ago, same raid where your brother died. Then we share grief. His son, my brother, both dead because men cannot make peace." Cole had never thought of it that way, but she was right. When they reached the ranch, Silas was waiting. His face was pale. "Someone was here," he said, "while you were gone. Single rider. Circled the cabin. Then left." Cole's gut clenched. "Tracks? Fresh. An hour, maybe 2. They followed the tracks to the edge of the property. There, stuck in the cabin door, was a single eagle feather. An Apache message. Ayesha saw it, and her face went white. "Jorah," she whispered. "He found me." "Who's Jorah?" "Yiska's brother, the one who put the bounty on me. He is not just bounty hunter, he is hunter. He likes to make prey scared before he strikes." Cole pulled the feather from the door, looked at the tree line. Somewhere out there, a man was watching. Waiting. "He won't get you," Cole said. "You cannot stop him. He will not attack. Not yet. He will wait. Make you nervous, make you make mistakes." That night, neither of them could sleep. They sat by the fire listening to every sound, every creak, every gust of wind. Finally, Ayesha spoke. "You are not scared of me. Why should I be? I killed a man. I am wanted. I bring danger to your door. We all have blood on our hands, mine probably more than yours. From the war is different. You were ordered." Cole's laugh was bitter. "Is it different? Still dead bodies, still families crying, still nightmares. You regret it. Every day." She was quiet. Then hesitantly she reached out. Her hand touched his. Just barely. Just enough. He didn't pull away. They sat like that for a long time, two broken people. Two people carrying grief too heavy to bear alone. No words, just the fire. Just the shared warmth of human contact. Just the beginning of something neither of them understood yet. Eventually Cole stood. "Try to sleep. I'll keep watch." But he couldn't keep watch forever. At some point near midnight, exhaustion won. His eyes closed, and Ayesha, who had been lying in bed pretending to sleep, opened hers. She had heard something earlier, a sound, the creak of floorboards in a specific pattern. She had grown up in a world where survival meant noticing everything. When Cole's breathing deepened into true sleep, she rose silently, crossed the room like a ghost, found the loose board near the bed, the one that had creaked. She lifted it carefully. Inside, wrapped in oilcloth, was a journal. Her heart pounded. She shouldn't. This was private, this was wrong, but she had to know. She carried it to the window where moonlight filtered through, opened it with trembling hands. The first entry was dated June 1880. 4 years ago, she began to read. June 14th, 1880. Another raid today. Lieutenant Crane ordered the shot. Target was Apache warrior, unarmed, trying to protect the village. I pulled the trigger. I see his face every night. Her breath caught. June 15th, 1880. Learned his name from a scout. Dakota. He was 22, younger than me. God forgive me. The journal fell from her hands. She caught it before it hit the floor, put it back exactly where she found it, replaced the floorboard. Then she returned to the bed and lay down. But she couldn't close her eyes. She had her answer. Cole Mackenzie had killed her brother. The man who saved her was the man who destroyed her, and now she had to decide what to do with that knowledge. Outside, the wind picked up. Snow began to fall again. And in the darkness, unseen, Jorah Pike watched the cabin from the tree line. 3 people bound by blood and secrets. 3 people whose choices would determine whether the valley ran red or found peace. The storm was only beginning. Dawn came cold and gray, the kind of morning that felt more like an ending than a beginning. Cole woke in his chair, neck stiff, rifle still across his lap. He had fallen asleep on watch. The fire had burned down to embers. The cabin was freezing. But what made his heart stop was Ayasha. She sat by the window, already dressed, staring out at nothing. Her face was expressionless, but her eyes looked hollow, like something vital had been carved out during the night. "You okay?" he asked, his voice rough from sleep. She didn't turn. "Yes." "You sure you look like you didn't sleep?" "I am fine." But she wasn't. Cole could feel it. Something had changed. The air between them felt different, charged, dangerous. He stood stretched, started rebuilding the fire. Ayasha watched him now. He could feel her gaze on his back, heavy, assessing. When he glanced at her, she looked away quickly. "Did something happen?" he tried again. "No, nothing." Her voice was flat, empty. Cole didn't believe her, but he didn't push. Everyone had a right to their secrets. God knew he had enough of his own. They moved through the morning routine in silence. Cole cooked beans. Ayasha fetched water from the pump outside. When he handed her a plate, their fingers brushed. She flinched. It was just a fraction of a second. Most men wouldn't have noticed. But Cole had spent years reading people's reactions. Survival in war had depended on it. She was afraid of him, or angry, maybe both. "Ayasha," he said carefully, "if I did something to upset you, I need to know. You did nothing. Then why won't you look at me?" She finally met his eyes. For just a moment, he saw it. Pain, rage, grief. All of it swirling together like a storm. Then she shuddered it away. "I am tired. That is all." She was lying. But why? The morning stretched on. Every interaction felt forced, artificial, like they were both actors in a play saying lines they didn't believe. When Ayasha went outside to split kindling, Cole watched from the window. She attacked the wood with unusual ferocity. Each swing of the axe was harder than necessary, angrier. He had seen men like this in the war, men carrying rage they couldn't voice, men one step away from breaking what had happened during the night. Around mid-morning, Silas came riding in fast. His horse was lathered despite the cold. "Cole, we got a problem." "What kind?" "Marcus called a town meeting, tonight, about the Indian problem." Silas glanced at Ayasha, who had stopped chopping and was listening. "He means her." Cole's jaw tightened. "Let him talk." "It's more than talk. He's got leverage." Silas dismounted, lowered his voice. "Governor wants to run railroad through the valley, needs water rights. Your spring is the only year-round source for 50 miles. My water, my land." "That's just it. Marcus is offering the governor a deal. He gets control of the water railroad, goes through, everyone profits. Except me. Except you. And he needs your land to make it work." Silas's face was grim. "He'll use her to get it. claim you're harboring a fugitive, get the marshal involved, force you out. Cole looked at Ayesha. She was watching them, understanding enough from their body language to know it was bad. "When's the meeting?" Cole asked. "Sundown. You planning to go?" "Have to. If I don't, he wins by default." After Silas left, Cole explained the situation to Ayesha. She listened without expression. "You should give me to them," she said finally. "Easier for you." "That's not happening." "Why not? You barely know me. I bring nothing but trouble." "Because it's wrong. And I'm done doing wrong things just because they're easier." She stared at him, searching for something. Then she turned away. "You are fool Cole Mackenzie, noble fool, but still fool." Before he could respond, hoofbeats sounded outside. Cole grabbed his rifle. Ayesha reached for the knife she kept in her boot, but it wasn't Jorah. It was a woman, young, blonde, Rebecca Dalton. She was alone, riding without an escort. Dangerous for a woman in this country, even in daylight. Cole stepped outside. "Miss Dalton, what are you doing here?" She dismounted quickly, glancing back the way she'd come. "I don't have much time. Father will notice I'm gone." "You shouldn't have come." "I had to." She looked past him to where Ayesha stood in the doorway. "May I come in?" "What I have to say is for both of you." Inside, Rebecca refused coffee. She was too agitated, too nervous. "My father is planning something terrible," she said without preamble. "He's going to force you out, Mr. Mackenzie. He'll use the marshal, use the law, use her." She nodded at Ayesha. "I know. Silas told me. But there's more." Rebecca pulled folded papers from her coat. "I found these in Father's study, letters to the territorial governor, promises about water access, bribes essentially." Cole took the papers, read them. His anger grew with each line. "He's breaking the law to accuse me of breaking the law." "Yes, and he doesn't care." Rebecca's voice cracked. "He's been like this since Thomas died, my brother. He died 4 years ago in an Apache raid. Father hasn't been the same since." Ayesha spoke for the first time. "I am sorry for your loss." Rebecca looked at her, really looked. "Thank you. I'm sorry for yours too. You know nothing of my losses. I know you wouldn't be running if you hadn't lost everything that mattered." Rebecca's eyes filled with tears. "I had a friend, when I was young, an Apache girl, running deer. She taught me her language. I taught her to read English. We used to meet in secret because our fathers would have forbidden it." Ayesha's expression shifted, softened. "What happened to her?" "She died. Same raid that killed my brother. She was 16, carrying water from the creek, not a warrior, not a threat, just a girl." Rebecca wiped her eyes. "Both sides lost people that day, but Father only counts our dead, not theirs." Silence filled the cabin, heavy with shared grief. Finally, Ayesha stepped forward, held out her hand. Rebecca took it. "Your friend," Ayesha said quietly, "she would be proud of you." Rebecca nodded, unable to speak. Cole cleared his throat. "These letters, can we use them?" "Maybe. If you can get them to someone who cares about justice more than politics." Rebecca pulled herself together. "I'll help however I can. I'll keep you informed about Father's plans. I'll testify if it comes to that. Your father will disown you. Then he'll disown me. I'm tired of living with hate. Thomas wouldn't have wanted this. He wrote me letters before he died. He said he was tired of killing. Wanted to come home and build things, not destroy them." Her voice strengthened. "I won't let Father's grief destroy more lives. Not in Thomas's name." After Rebecca left, Cole and Ayesha stood in the doorway, watching her ride away. "She is brave," Ayesha said. "Foolish, more like, coming here alone." "Brave and foolish are often same thing." She glanced at him. "Like you." It was the first hint of warmth in her voice all day. Cole felt something ease in his chest, but the moment was brief. Ayesha's face closed off again. She went back inside, back to the careful distance she'd been maintaining. That evening, as the sun set, Cole prepared to leave for the town meeting. He didn't want to go, didn't want to leave Ayesha alone, but Silas would stay, and hiding would only make things worse. "Lock the door," he told her. "Don't open it unless you hear my voice or Silas's. I know how to stay alive." "I know you do, but humor me anyway." She almost smiled. Almost. He rode toward town with dread in his gut. Whatever happened tonight would set the course for everything to come. The meeting was held in the church, ironic, Cole thought, plotting someone's destruction in a house of God. 30 men filled the pews, more than Cole expected. Marcus stood at the front next to Father Benedict's pulpit, taking a position of authority that wasn't his to take. Cole walked down the center aisle. Every eye followed him. He could hear the whispers, could feel the judgment. He took a seat in the back, waited. Marcus began. "Gentlemen, thank you for coming. We have a situation that affects us all. A dangerous fugitive is being harbored in our valley, an Apache woman wanted for murder." Murmurs of agreement, fear, anger. "She brings the threat of violence to our homes, to our families. We cannot allow this to continue." A rancher stood. "What do you propose?" "We demand that Cole Mackenzie turn her over to the authorities, tonight." All eyes turned to Cole. He stood slowly, deliberately. "She's under my protection. That's all you need to know." "Protection?" Marcus's voice dripped with disdain. "Or possession? You're no better than the savages if you claim women like property." "I don't claim anyone. She stays because she chooses to, because she's safer with me than she would be with any of you. She killed a man." Father Benedict stood. "In self-defense. I taught Ayesha at the mission school. She is a good person. And Yiska Pike, the man she killed, was known to me as well. He assaulted 3 other women before her. I have their testimonies." This caused a stir. Men looked at each other, some uncomfortable, some skeptical. Marcus pressed on. "That's not the point. The law is the law. She's wanted. Mackenzie is breaking it by harboring her." Cole's voice cut through the noise. "Then arrest me. Bring the marshal. Let's do this legal and proper. But until then, she stays." "You'd risk everything for a woman you barely know." "I'd risk everything to do what's right." Marcus's face flushed with anger. "Fine. We'll let the marshal decide. But know this, Mackenzie, you're choosing her over your community, over your own people." "My people," Cole said quietly, "are anyone who needs help. Color doesn't change that." He walked out before Marcus could respond. The ride home was dark and cold. Cole's mind churned. The marshal would come. Questions would be asked. And when they dug into his past, into his service record, would they find the connection? Would they discover he'd been at Canyon Diablo? Would Ayesha find out before he could tell her himself? When he reached the ranch, the cabin was dark, except for a single candle in the window. Silas sat on the porch, rifle ready. "She inside?" "Yeah. Been quiet all evening." Silas stood. "How'd it go?" "About as bad as expected. Marcus is calling in the marshal." Silas swore quietly. "Cole, there's something I need to tell you. Been putting it off, but with the marshal coming." He trailed off, looking old and tired. "What is it?" "Not here, tomorrow, when I've got the courage worked up." He clapped Cole on the shoulder. "Get some rest. You'll need it." Cole entered the cabin quietly. Ayesha was sitting by the dying fire, wrapped in a blanket. She didn't turn when he came in. "Meeting went bad?" she asked. "Could have been worse?" "Could have been better, too." He sat across from her. The silence stretched. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore. "Ayesha, what's wrong? And don't tell me nothing. I know something's eating at you." She was quiet for so long, he thought she wouldn't answer. Then, "If you could go back to that day, the raid, would you do it different?" His blood went cold. "What?" "Simple question. If you could change your choices that day, would you—" "I don't understand what you're asking." "I think you do." They stared at each other across the firelight. He could see it in her eyes. She knew. Somehow, she knew. "How long have you known?" he asked quietly. 2 days. "How—" "I read your journal." The words hit him like a physical blow. His journal, the one place he'd written the complete truth, the one place he'd confessed everything. She had read it all. "I'm sorry," he managed. "I should have told you. Should have been honest from the start." "Yes, you should have." Her voice was hard. "But you let me sleep under your roof, eat your food. You let me start to trust you. And all the while you knew you killed my brother." "I didn't know you were his sister until I saw the scar, the locket. And by then—" He stopped. There was no excuse, no justification. By then it was too late to tell the truth without destroying everything. She pulled the blanket tighter. "I wanted to hate you. When I read those words, I wanted to take your knife and—" She didn't finish. "Why didn't you?" "Because I read all of it. Not just the entry about Dakota, all of it. Years of guilt, years of nightmares. You have been punishing yourself longer and harder than I ever could." Cole's throat tightened. "I deserve it. Maybe, maybe not." She finally looked at him directly. "Do you know what I realized reading your pain? That Dakota died a warrior, protecting what he loved. He went down fighting. But you lived. And you carry his death like a stone around your neck, drowning slowly every day. Who suffered more?" He had no answer. "I cannot forgive you," she said. "Not yet, maybe not ever. But I also cannot kill you, cannot hate you the way I thought I would. And that makes me angry. At you, at myself, at the whole cursed world that made us both victims of the same violence." "Ayasha—" "No, let me finish." She stood paced. "You asked me to stay. You protect me. You risk everything. Why guilt penance, or something else?" "I don't know," he admitted. "Started as guilt, maybe. But now, I don't know what it is." "Then figure it out. Because I need to know if you see me as a person or as a debt to be paid." Before he could answer, glass shattered. A window exploded inward, then another. Gunfire erupted from outside. Cole threw himself at Ayasha, knocking her to the floor as bullets punched through the walls. "Stay down!" he shouted. More gunfire. The door splintered. A voice called from the darkness. "Ayasha, I know you're in there. Come out or the white man dies." Cole recognized the voice from Ayasha's description, Jorah Pike. He crawled to the window, staying low. Fired blind into the darkness. Return fire shattered what was left of the glass. Ayasha grabbed her knife. "This is my fight. Now it's ours." They positioned themselves on either side of the door. Cole reloaded, counted at least 3 shooters outside, maybe more. One tried to rush the door. Cole shot through the wood. A scream, the sound of a body falling. "Back off," Jorah's voice, angry now. "I'll burn you out," Ayasha called back in Apache. Cole didn't understand the words, but the fury in her voice was clear. Jorah responded also in Apache. An argument. A negotiation. Then Ayasha did something that made Cole's heart stop. She opened the door, stepped out into the snow, hands raised, unarmed. "No!" Cole lunged for her, but she was already outside. He followed, rifle ready. What he saw made his blood boil. 4 men. Jorah in front. Half Apache, half white. Scar across his face. Eyes full of hate. 2 hired guns flanking him. And Silas. Silas was standing with them, gun in hand, pointed at the cabin. "Silas!" Cole couldn't believe it. "What are you doing?" The old man's face was twisted with anguish. "I'm sorry, Cole. I'm so sorry, but this has to end." Ayasha stood between them all, calm, defiant. "Jorah," she said in English, "this changes nothing. Yiska attacked me. I defended myself. You know the truth." Jorah's face contorted. Truth doesn't matter. Blood demands blood. Your brother was broken. Violence made him that way. Don't become him." "I already am him. We were the same, hated by both sides. All we had was each other." Jorah's gun shook. "You took him. You pay." Cole stepped forward. "She's not going anywhere." Jorah laughed bitterly. "White man plays hero. How many of us did you kill, soldier? How many Apache fell to your bullets? Enough to know the difference between someone who deserves killing and someone who doesn't. Philosophical, but you're outnumbered." Then another voice cut through the night. "Not as much as you think." Father Benedict emerged from the darkness, shotgun in hand. Behind him, 6 men from town. Ranchers who had conscience left. Men who knew right from wrong. The balance shifted. More voices, more figures. Rebecca appeared with another group. Men who feared Marcus's land grabs more than they feared Apache. Now it was 15 against 4. Jorah's hired guns looked at each other, dropped their weapons, ran. Only Jorah remained, and Silas, still holding his gun, tears streaming down his face. "Silas," Cole said quietly, "put it down. Whatever this is, we can talk about it. You don't understand." The old man's voice broke. "You don't know what I did. Then tell me." Silas's gun lowered. He sank to his knees in the snow. "Canyon Diablo. 4 years ago, I gave the order. I told you to shoot. You hesitated. You said the target wasn't armed, but I pushed. I made you do it." He looked at Ayasha. "I killed your brother. Not Cole. Me. I gave the order." The world seemed to stop. Cole stared at the man he'd worked beside for years, the man he'd trusted. You let me think. I was a coward. I let you carry the guilt, let it eat you alive, because I couldn't face what I'd done." Silas looked at Ayasha. "I saw you that day, a girl in the brush, screaming for Dakota. I knew he was protecting you, and I still gave the order." Ayasha's face was unreadable. "Why tell us now? Because I can't watch you two build something on my lie. Can't watch Cole sacrifice everything when the real blame is mine." He looked at Cole. "Hate me. Shoot me. I deserve it." Cole's hands shook. 4 years. 4 years of nightmares, of guilt, of believing he had pulled that trigger on his own judgment. And all along it had been an order, a direct order. It didn't erase what he'd done, but it changed it, shifted it. "Do you hate him?" Ayasha asked Cole. I don't know." "Good. Means you are not consumed. Means maybe we all can heal." She turned to Jorah. He was still standing, gun hanging loose in his hand. Lost. "Jorah, you loved your brother, I understand. But killing me will not bring him back. Will not make the tribe accept you. Will not fill the hole inside you. You don't understand. I do. Dakota was everything to me. When he died, I wanted revenge too. I wanted to hurt someone the way I hurt. But revenge is empty. It does not heal. It only makes the wound deeper." Jorah's gun fell to the snow. He collapsed, sobbing. Marshal Hendricks rode up at that moment, drawn by the gunfire. He surveyed the scene, the broken windows, the spent shells, the crying men. "Someone want to tell me what happened here?" Father Benedict stepped forward. "Self-defense, Marshal. Jorah Pike and hired guns attacked this property. Multiple witnesses." The Marshal looked at Jorah, at Silas, at Cole and Ayasha. "Jorah Pike, you're under arrest. Assault. Attempted murder. You'll have your day in court." Jorah didn't resist as the Marshal cuffed him. As they led him to the horse, he looked back at Ayasha. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "For everything." She nodded once. "I know." After the Marshal left with Jorah, the crowd dispersed. Only Father Benedict, Rebecca, and Silas remained. Silas couldn't look at anyone. "I'll pack my things. Be gone by morning." "No," Cole said. Everyone turned. "You'll stay. You'll work. You'll face this every day like I've been doing. Running is the coward's way. You stay, and you earn your way back." Silas looked at him, hope and disbelief warring on his face. "You'd let me stay after everything, on one condition. No more secrets, no more lies. We face this together or not at all." The old man nodded, unable to speak. Father Benedict put a hand on Silas's shoulder. "Confession is the first step, my son. Redemption is a journey." After they left, Cole and Ayasha stood alone in the ruined cabin. Glass everywhere, bullet holes in the walls, everything destroyed, everything except them. "You could have let me go," Ayasha said. "Would have been simpler." "Nothing about you is simple." She almost smiled. "You neither." They looked at each other. The truth was out now. All of it. The killing, the order, the guilt. No more secrets between them. "I meant what I said," Cole told her. "I don't know if what I feel is guilt or something else, but I know I want you to stay. Not because I owe you, but because when you're here, I feel less alone." Ayasha stepped closer. I cannot forgive you yet. Maybe not ever. The wound is too deep, but, she touched his face gentle, but I can choose to heal with you instead of against you. Is that enough? It's more than I deserve. Yes, it is. She let her hand fall. Now, we rebuild, together. As they worked through the night, boarding up windows, sweeping glass, they didn't speak much. But the silence between them had changed. No more secrets, no more lies. Just two broken people choosing to face tomorrow together. Outside, the first hints of dawn touched the horizon. Spring was coming. And with it, the possibility of something new, something neither of them had dared hope for. Redemption. The morning after the attack brought a bitter cold that seemed to seep into bones and settle there. Cole stood outside the ruined cabin surveying the damage. 7 bullet holes in the walls, 3 windows shattered. The door splintered where someone had tried to kick it in. But they had survived. Inside, Ayesha swept glass while Silas boarded up the broken windows. The old man worked in silence, his face haunted. Every few minutes he would glance at Ayesha, then look away quickly, as if the sight of her burned. Cole understood. Guilt was a weight that never got lighter. You just learned to carry it different. Father Benedict arrived mid-morning with supplies, lumber, glass panes, food. He had organized a collection from the sympathetic townspeople. "How is she?" the priest asked quietly, watching Ayesha through the damaged window. "Strong, stronger than any of us, maybe." "And you?" Cole didn't answer right away. How was he? The truth had come out. Silas had given the order. But Cole had still pulled the trigger. The blame shifted, but didn't disappear. "I'm here," he said finally. "That's all I can manage right now." Father Benedict nodded. Sometimes that's enough. Being present when everything tells you to run. They worked through the day repairing what could be fixed. Rebecca came in the afternoon with more volunteers. Young men from the valley who had grown tired of Marcus Dalton's bullying. They worked alongside Cole without comment, their presence a quiet statement of support. By evening, the cabin was whole again. Not perfect, but livable. As the volunteers left, Rebecca pulled Cole aside. "The marshal is still in town. He's asking questions. About you, about the raid 4 years ago." Cole's stomach dropped. "What kind of questions? About who served where? Who was at Canyon Diablo? Father has been pushing him, giving him names." She looked worried. "Cole, if he connects you to that raid, if he finds out about Dakota—" "I know. What will you do? Tell the truth. It's all I got left." That night, Cole sat Ayesha down. Silas was there too at Cole's insistence. "The marshal is investigating. He's going to find out I was at the raid, going to connect me to your brother." Cole's voice was steady. "When he does, there will be questions, maybe charges." Ayesha's face was unreadable. "What kind of charges? Depends on how he sees it. Following orders is a defense, but killing an unarmed man—" He trailed off. "Dakota was not unarmed," Ayesha said quietly. Both men looked at her. "He had a knife, small but still a weapon. He always carried it." Her eyes were distant, remembering. "He would have used it if he could. He died protecting our village. That made him a combatant, yes. Ayesha, you don't have to. I am telling truth. Not for you, for him. My brother was a warrior. He died as one. I will not let anyone remember him as helpless victim." Her voice strengthened. "You shot him in battle. That is war. What Yiska did to me, what Jorah tried to do, that was murder. There is difference." Silas made a sound, half sob, half something else. "You're defending us. After everything." "I am defending truth. You still did wrong. You still carry blame. But wrong is not same as evil." She looked at both of them. "Evil is what was done to me, what was done to those other women Yiska hurt. War is different kind of wrong, still wrong but different." Cole felt something break open in his chest. Not absolution, not forgiveness, not quite, but acknowledgement. Recognition that the world was not simple, that right and wrong could blur in ways that destroyed good people. "Thank you," he said hoarsely. "Do not thank me. I do this for Dakota, not for you, but her eyes were soft. Not only for you. The next morning brought riders. Cole saw them from a distance. 5 horses. The marshal in front. Marcus Dalton beside him. 3 deputies behind. "They're here," he called to the cabin. Ayesha emerged dressed in her buckskin dress. She had mended it, carefully restored it. A statement of who she was, what she would not hide. Silas stood with them, rifle ready, but pointed down. The riders stopped 20 feet from the cabin. Marshal Hendricks dismounted. He was a tired-looking man in his mid-40s, weathered. Fair Cole had heard, but under pressure from men like Marcus. "Mr. Mackenzie, Miss Ayesha, Mr. Crane." The marshal nodded to each of them. "I need to ask some questions." "Ask," Cole said. "You were at Canyon Diablo 4 years ago, cavalry raid." "Yes." "You were under Lieutenant Crane's command." "Yes." Marcus interrupted. "She's the sister of the Apache you killed. That's why you're protecting her. Guilt." The marshal held up a hand. "Let me handle this, Marcus." He turned back to Cole. "Is that true about her brother?" "Yes." Ayesha stepped forward. "My name is Ayesha. Not she. Not her. If you have questions about my brother, ask me." The marshal looked surprised, but he nodded. "Ma'am, can you tell me what happened that day?" "White soldiers attacked our village at dawn. My brother Dakota tried to defend us. He had a knife. He engaged the soldiers. He was shot. He died a warrior's death." "You saw this." "I was there. I was 22. I saw everything. And you hold Mr. Mackenzie responsible." Ayesha was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was clear and strong. "I hold the war responsible. I hold the hate responsible. I hold all of us responsible for not finding peace sooner. But Mr. Mackenzie, he was soldier following orders in battle. My brother was warrior defending home. Both did what they believed right. Both paid price. That is war." Marcus's face turned red. "She's lying, protecting him." "I protect no one," Ayesha said coldly. "I speak truth, something you know nothing about." The marshal studied her, then Cole, then Silas. "Mr. Crane, you gave the order to fire that day." Silas straightened. "Yes, sir, I did." "Why?" "Because I was scared, because I made a mistake, because I thought he was armed with more than a knife. I was wrong. But I gave the order, and Private Mackenzie followed it. The blame is mine, and you've been living with that guilt for 4 years. Every day." The marshal was quiet. Then, "Miss Ayesha, you're wanted for the death of Yiska Pike. I killed him in self-defense. I have testimony from Father Benedict. He's collected statements from 3 other women Yiska assaulted. He also has medical evidence that supports your claim." The marshal pulled papers from his coat. "Based on this evidence and your own statement, I'm prepared to dismiss the charges. Self-defense is not murder." Cole felt the air rush from his lungs. Ayesha remained still, but he saw her hands tremble. "However," the marshal continued, "there's still the matter of you fleeing justice, running from the law." "I ran from lynch mob, not law. There is difference." "Fair point." The marshal looked at Marcus. "Mr. Dalton, you've been pushing hard for this woman's arrest. Why, she's dangerous. She brings violence. Or you want her gone so you can pressure Mr. Mackenzie into selling his land." Marcus's eyes narrowed. "That's a serious accusation." "Is it an accusation if I have proof?" The marshal pulled more papers. "I've been doing my own investigation, Mr. Dalton, into your dealings with the territorial governor, the promises you made about water rights, rights you don't actually have." Rebecca emerged from where she'd been waiting by the barn. "I gave him the evidence, Marshal, my father's letters, his bribes, his schemes." Marcus turned on her, fury and betrayal warring on his face. "Rebecca, what have you done? What Thomas would have wanted? What's right?" Her voice shook, but held firm. "You're so consumed by grief you can't see you've become the thing Thomas fought against. Hate, violence, cruelty. Your brother died because of them. My brother died because we couldn't make peace, because men on both sides chose violence over talking. And you want to honor him by creating more violence, by destroying innocent people." She was crying now. I found his letters, Father, the ones he sent before he died. He wrote that he was tired of killing. He wanted to come home and build things. He wanted peace. And you've spent 4 years spitting on his memory by refusing to let go of hate." The words hung in the cold air. Marcus looked at his daughter, really looked, and something in him seemed to crack. His shoulders sagged. His face aged 10 years in 10 seconds. "Thomas wanted peace," he said quietly. "Yes, I can show you the letters. He wrote about wanting to help build bridges between settlers and natives, about wanting to teach rather than fight, about hoping for a future where his children wouldn't have to know war." Rebecca stepped closer. "He was 20 years old, Father, just a boy, and he died scared and alone wanting his home. Don't let his death fuel more death, please." Marcus was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was broken. "I've been so angry for so long, I didn't know how to stop. Then stop now. Choose different. For Thomas." The marshal cleared his throat. "Mr. Dalton, I'm going to investigate your business practices. If what Miss Rebecca says is true, there will be consequences. Legal ones. But that's for later." He turned to Ayasha. "Miss Ayasha, you're free to go. All charges dismissed. You're welcome to stay in this territory or leave as you choose. The choice is yours." Ayasha swayed slightly. Cole steadied her with a hand on her arm. "I can stay," she whispered. "Yes, ma'am. You're a free woman." For the first time since Cole had met her, Ayasha's face crumpled. She didn't cry, not quite, but her eyes shone with unshed tears, relief, disbelief, hope. Cole's hand tightened on her arm. "You're safe now." She nodded, not trusting her voice. The marshal prepared to leave. Before mounting his horse, he looked at Cole. "For what it's worth, Mr. Mackenzie, I read your service record. You were a good soldier, did your duty. What happened at Canyon Diablo was war. Ugly, but war. You don't need to carry that forever." "Thank you, Marshal." After they left, Marcus lingered. He approached slowly like a man walking toward his own execution. "Miss Ayasha," he said stiffly, "I owe you an apology. I blamed you for something you had no part in. Let my grief make me cruel." Ayasha regarded him coolly. "You wanted me dead, or worse." "Yes, I did. And I was wrong." He took a breath. "My son Thomas, he was a good boy. Kind. Gentle. The war destroyed that. When he died, I wanted someone to blame. Needed it. So I blamed all Apache, all natives. Never saw you as people, just as the enemy. And now I see my daughter willing to stand between us, willing to lose me to save you. That tells me something." He looked at Rebecca, standing tall despite her tears. "She's braver than I ever was." "Yes," Ayasha agreed. "She is." Marcus nodded. He pulled something from his coat, an old pocket watch. "This was Thomas's. He carried it through the war. I want someone to have it, someone building a future, not drowning in the past." He held it out to Cole. Cole took it carefully, opened it. Inside was an inscription, "To Thomas may you always find your way home. Love, Mother." "I can't take this," Cole said. "You can. You will. My boy would want it used, want it to mean something." Marcus's voice roughened. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. Don't deserve it. But I'm asking for a chance to stop being the man I've become." Ayasha spoke. "Stopping is first step. Walking different path is second. Show us second step before asking for acceptance." "Fair enough." Marcus looked at them both. "I'll withdraw my claim on the water rights. I'll tell the governor the truth. And I'll leave you alone. That's all I can offer." "It is enough," Ayasha said. "For now." After Marcus left, with his head bowed, the three of them stood in silence. Finally, Silas spoke. "I never thought I'd see that. Marcus Dalton apologizing to anyone, let alone an Apache woman," Ayasha finished. "Say it. Words only have power if we give them." "I was going to say, let alone someone he wronged so badly." "Same thing, maybe." Rebecca approached, wiping her eyes. "I'm sorry. I know this doesn't fix anything. My father destroyed so much." Ayasha surprised them all by taking Rebecca's hands. Your father is wounded man. Wounded people lash out. You are healer. You stand in gap between hate and hope. That is harder than either extreme. I don't feel brave. Brave people never do. That is what makes it brave. They embraced. Two women from different worlds bound by loss and the choice to build rather than destroy. Father Benedict returned that evening with news. The town is talking. Some are angry that Ayesha was cleared, but many more are relieved. They're tired of tension, tired of fear. There's a movement starting, small but growing, people who want peace. Peace is hard work, Cole said. Yes, but so is war, and we've had enough war. The priest looked at Ayesha. The mission school needs a teacher, someone who speaks both languages, who understands both cultures, if you're interested. Ayesha's eyes widened. You would trust me with children. I would trust you with anything. You've shown more grace under pressure than most people show in a lifetime. I need to think. Of course, the offer stands. He blessed them and left. That night, Cole and Ayesha sat by the fire. For the first time there was no tension, no secrets. Just two people who had survived hell and found themselves on the other side. What will you do? Cole asked. Now that you're free, I don't know. For so long, freedom was just dream. Now I have it, and I don't know what it looks like. You could teach, like Father Benedict said. I could. She looked at him. Or I could stay here, help rebuild, make this place something more than just survival. Cole's heart jumped. You'd want that? I don't know what I want yet. Only what I don't want. I don't want to run anymore. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to live in fear. She paused. And I don't want to leave you. Not yet. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I need time to know for sure. Need to know I'm choosing you, not just choosing safety. I understand. She moved closer, rested her head on his shoulder. Ask me in spring, when the snow melts and the world is new. Ask me then if I want to stay. I will. They sat like that until the fire burned low. Outside the world was quiet. The violence had passed. The truth had been told. And in the silence that followed, something new began to grow. April brought the thaw. Ice broke on the creek with sounds like gunshots. Snow melted in rushing streams that turned the valley floor to mud. The world went from white to brown to the first hints of green. Cole and Ayesha worked side by side repairing winter damage. Fences that had fallen, roof shingles torn loose by wind. They fell into an easy rhythm. He would lift, she would nail, he would measure, she would cut. Silas worked harder than both of them combined, as if physical labor could atone for past sins. He spoke little, but his presence was steady, reliable in a way that mattered more than words. One morning, Ayesha woke before dawn. She found Cole already outside watching the sunrise paint the mountains gold and pink. You're up early, she said. Couldn't sleep. Too much thinking. About... He turned to face her. About what you said, about asking you in spring. Spring is here. I know. He took a breath. Ayesha, I don't have much. This ranch is half broken. I'm half broken too. But what I have, what I am, I want to share with you. Not because of guilt, not because I owe you, but because when I think about tomorrow, I can't imagine it without you in it. She was quiet, listening. I know it's too soon. I know you need more time, but I wanted you to know. When you're ready, if you're ever ready, I'll be here. Ayesha stepped closer, close enough that he could see the gold flecks in her brown eyes. Cole Mackenzie, are you asking me to marry you? His breath caught. Maybe. Is that what you want to hear? I want to hear truth. Always truth between us. Then yes, I'm asking. But I'll wait for an answer as long as you need. She smiled. Actually smiled. Full and genuine. You are a strange man. Most men would demand answer now. I'm not most men. No, you are not. She touched his face gentle. Ask me again on Independence Day, July 4th. If I still feel the same, I will say yes. If not, I will tell you truth, and we will part as friends. That's 3 months away. I know. Long enough to be sure. Short enough to hope. He covered her hand with his. I can live with that. The weeks that followed brought change to Tin Cup Valley. Father Benedict's mission school opened its doors to both white and native children. Rebecca taught there 3 days a week. Ayasha joined her teaching Apache language and customs to children who had been raised to fear them. The first week, only 3 students came. By the end of the month, there were 15. Marcus Dalton withdrew his claim on Cole's water rights. He gave the territorial governor an honest accounting of his schemes. The consequences were financial and social. He lost contracts, lost respect, but he began the slow work of rebuilding his honor. He visited the ranch once, awkward and stiff. He brought lumber to repair the barn. Didn't ask permission, just started working. When Cole came out to protest, Marcus said simply, "My hands have torn down enough. Time they built something." They worked in silence. When the work was done, Marcus left without expecting thanks. But he came back the next week, and the week after that. Slowly, impossibly, something like respect grew between them. Jorah Pike remained in the territorial prison. Father Benedict visited him monthly, brought books, brought hope. In his letters to Ayasha, which she read aloud to Cole by the fire, Jorah wrote of his growing understanding. "I see now that I was not angry at you," he wrote. "I was angry at the world that made us both victims, angry at the rejection, angry at myself for not being strong enough to walk away from revenge. I do not ask forgiveness, only that you know I understand now. Too late, but I understand," Ayasha wrote back. Her letters were honest, not forgiving, but not cruel. She told him about the school, about the children learning 2 languages, about the slow building of bridges. "Maybe this is what Yiska would have wanted if he had not been so broken," she wrote. "Maybe we honor the dead not by avenging them, but by building the peace they never knew." Jorah's next letter was shorter. Just 3 words. "You are right." May brought flowers. The valley exploded in color. Wildflowers carpeted the meadows. Trees budded. The air smelled of growth and possibility. Cole took Ayasha riding one afternoon. They followed the creek up into the high country where the snow still clung to the peaks. Found a meadow so thick with flowers it looked like someone had spilled paint across the earth. They dismounted, let the horses graze, sat together in the sun. "I used to come here with Emma," Cole said quietly. "Our first year married, before the drought, before everything. Does it hurt to be here now?" "Yes, but different than before. Before it was all loss, all grief. Now there's something else too." "What?" "Gratitude. That I got to love her. That I'm getting a second chance at living." He looked at Ayasha. "Because of you. Not because of me. Because you chose it. We both chose it." She lay back in the flowers staring at the sky. "July 4th is 60 days away." "I know." "Ask me now." His heart stopped. "What? You heard me? Ask me now." Cole knelt beside her, took her hand. "Ayasha, will you marry me?" She sat up, met his eyes. "Do you love me? Not gratitude, not guilt. Love." "Yes." "When did you know?" "The night you stayed when you could have run. The night you chose to heal with me instead of against me. That's when I knew." His voice roughened. "I love you. I love your strength, your truth. The way you see the world clear, even when it hurts. I love who I am when I'm with you, someone better than I've been, someone I want to keep being." Ayasha's eyes filled. "I love you too, and I hate that I do because it would be easier not to, but I do. I love your guilt because it means you have conscience. I love your brokenness because you don't hide it. I love that you gave me choice when everyone else tried to take it away." "Is that a yes?" "Yes, Cole Mackenzie, I will marry you." He kissed her then, gentle at first, then deeper. She pulled him close, her hands in his hair, and for the first time since they met, there was no shadow between them. No secrets, no guilt, just 2 people choosing each other. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Ayasha smiled. "But I still want to wait until July 4th. Why? Because it means something. Independence Day. We both get to be independent together, free from past, free to choose future. Then we wait. They rode back to the ranch as the sun set her arms around his waist, his hand covering hers. And for the first time in either of their lives, the future felt like something to look forward to instead of something to survive. June brought preparations. Rebecca helped Ayesha sew a dress. Not white, not traditional Apache, something in between. Cream-colored cotton with beadwork at the collar and sleeves. A blend of cultures like the life they were building. Father Benedict prepared the ceremony. He consulted with an Apache elder from Ayesha's former tribe. An old woman named Grandmother Usin, who had known Dakota. She was skeptical at first, but when she met Cole and saw how he and Ayesha looked at each other, she softened. "The boy was my grandson," she told Cole through Ayesha's translation. "You took him from this world, but you gave his sister back her life. I do not forgive, but I do not hate. That is best I can offer. That's more than I deserve. Yes, it is. Treasure it." She agreed to attend the wedding, to give her blessing, if not her full approval. Marcus struggled with whether to come. Rebecca encouraged him. "You've come this far, Father. Don't stop now." He finally sent word that he would attend, but would sit in back. Would not presume to be welcomed, but wanted to show support. Silas asked Cole if he could stand as best man. "After everything," the old man said, "you'd still want me there. Your family, Silas. Broken, but family. That's what this whole thing is about. Choosing family even when it's hard." The old man cried. Actually cried. July 4th, 1885 dawned clear and hot. They held the ceremony in the meadow by the creek. Father Benedict presided. Grandmother Usin stood nearby witnessing for Ayesha's people. Silas stood with Cole, Rebecca with Ayesha. 30 people came. Not a huge crowd, but enough to matter. Cole wore his best clothes, still rough but clean. Ayesha wore the dress Rebecca had helped make. Her hair was loose, flowing down her back. She carried a bouquet of wildflowers. Father Benedict began. "We gather today to witness the union of two souls, Cole and Ayesha, two people from different worlds who found common ground in suffering and chose to build joy from it." He spoke of love, of forgiveness, of the courage it takes to move forward when the past pulls you back. Then he invited them to speak their vows. Cole went first. "Ayesha, I can't give you back what you lost, can't undo the past, but I can promise you the future. I promise to wake up every day and choose you. Choose us. I promise to honor your culture, your pain, your strength. I promise to be a man worthy of the gift you're giving me. And when I fail because I will fail, I promise to get back up and try again." Ayesha's turn. "Cole, you killed my brother. That is truth we cannot change. But you also saved my life, protected me when no one else would, loved me when I could not love myself. You gave me choice. You gave me voice. You gave me hope." Her voice strengthened. "I choose you, not because I have to, not because it is easy, but because when I see tomorrow you are in it, and that makes tomorrow worth seeing." Father Benedict smiled. "By the power vested in me, and with the blessing of this community, I pronounce you husband and wife." Cole kissed her. The crowd cheered. As they turned to face everyone, people threw wheat and flowers, white tradition and Apache custom blended together, just like them. The celebration lasted into the evening. Food, music, dancing. Marcus stayed to the side, but when Rebecca dragged him forward to offer congratulations, he managed it, stiff but sincere. "Mrs. Mackenzie," he said to Ayesha, "I wish you happiness, more than you've known. Thank you, Mr. Dalton, I wish you peace. Same." He nodded and retreated. But it was a start. As the sun set, Cole and Ayesha slipped away, rode back to the ranch. Their ranch now. Together. That night in the cabin they had repaired with their own hands, they became husband and wife in every sense. It was tender, careful, full of whispered words and gentle touches. They took their time learning each other, building something new on the foundation of all they had survived. Afterward, lying tangled together, Ayesha spoke. "Do you think we will make it? Really make it?" "Yes." "How can you be sure?" "Because we've survived everything that should have destroyed us. If we can survive that, we can survive anything." She settled against him. "I hope you're right." "Me too." They slept peacefully. No nightmares, no ghosts, just rest. The months that followed brought their own challenges. Not everyone accepted their marriage. Some townspeople remained hostile. Some Apache from other tribes saw Ayesha as a traitor for marrying a white man, a soldier no less. But more people came around than didn't. The school grew. By fall, 25 children attended. Learning side by side, playing together, building friendships that would shape the next generation. Rebecca met a young rancher, kind man who loved her fierce determination. They courted with Marcus's grudging blessing. Silas continued to work the ranch, never asked for forgiveness directly, but showed it through action, through dedication, through the slow rebuilding of trust. Jorah was released from prison after 2 years. Father Benedict helped him find work at a freight company. He never returned to bounty hunting, never returned to violence. He wrote to Ayesha once a year. She wrote back, not friends, but not enemies, just two people who had found different paths to peace. Marcus sold his ranch after Rebecca married. He was tired, he said, tired of fighting land and weather and memories. He moved to a small house in town, spent his days carving wood, making toys for children at the school. It was quiet work, gentle work, the opposite of everything he had been. One day he brought a rocking horse he had made, gave it to Ayesha. "For when you need it," he said simply. She understood. September brought news. Ayesha was pregnant. Cole found her by the creek hand on her belly crying. "What's wrong?" he asked, panicked. "Nothing. Everything. I'm happy and scared and I don't know how to be mother." He held her. "You'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. What if I'm bad at it? You won't be. You're good at everything that matters. What if our child is rejected, half white, half Apache, belonging nowhere? They'll belong here with us. And we'll teach them that belonging isn't about blood or skin. It's about choice, about building bridges instead of walls." She cried harder. Happy tears this time. Winter came again, but this winter was different. The cabin was warm. The larder was full. They had friends. They had each other. In March of 1886, Ayesha gave birth, a boy, healthy, strong, with his mother's dark hair and his father's blue eyes, a perfect blend. They named him Thomas Dakota Mackenzie, for the brothers who died so they could learn to live. Marcus came to see the baby, stood in the doorway, hat in hand, staring at the child who bore his son's name. "You didn't have to," he said hoarsely. "We wanted to," Ayesha replied. "Your son and my brother, they were same, young men caught in old hate. This baby, he represents new beginning, different way." Marcus held Thomas Dakota carefully. The old man's eyes filled. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you for remembering him as more than just a soldier, as a boy who wanted peace." He came back often after that, became a grandfather in all but blood, built a cradle for the baby, carved toys, told stories of Thomas that made him real instead of just a ghost. Spring, 1887. The valley was green and alive. The school had 40 students now. The town had elected a new council that included both settlers and natives. Not perfect integration, but progress. Cole stood on the porch watching Ayesha play with Thomas Dakota in the grass. The boy was learning to walk. Every few steps he would fall. Ayesha would pick him up, encourage him to try again. Silas walked up, leaning on a cane now. Age was catching him, but he was still here. "You did good, son," he said quietly. "We did good, all of us. You think it will last, this peace? I think peace isn't a destination. It's a choice we make every day. Some days will be harder than others, but as long as we keep choosing it, it has a chance. Rebecca rode up with her husband and their new baby girl. Marcus followed in his wagon, bringing supplies for a shared meal. Father Benedict arrived with news that the territorial governor was considering formal treaties, proper water-sharing agreements, legal protections for native settlements. "It's happening," the priest said. "What you two started, it's spreading." "We didn't start it," Ayesha said. "We just stopped running from it." That evening they all gathered. A strange family, bound not by blood but by choice, by shared pain and the decision to build something better. They ate together, laughed together, passed the babies around, made plans for the future. Cole looked around the table, at Ayesha, his wife, at Thomas Takota, his son, at Silas, who had become his father in all the ways that mattered, at Rebecca and Marcus working through their own complicated healing, at Father Benedict, who had believed in grace when no one else did. This was not the life he had imagined when he rode out that winter day and found a woman in the snow. It was better, because it was real, built on truth instead of lies, on forgiveness instead of revenge, on hope instead of hate. After everyone left, Cole and Ayesha stood together under the stars, Thomas Takota asleep in Ayesha's arms. "Do you ever wonder what Takota would think?" Cole asked. "About us?" Ayesha was quiet. "Then I think he would be surprised, maybe angry at first, but then I think he would see you, really see you, the way I do. And he would understand that you are not the enemy. You are just man who made hard choices in hard times, like he did." "I hope you're right." "I am right. I knew my brother. He wanted peace more than revenge. He would want me happy. And I am happy, Cole. For first time in my life, I am truly happy." "Me too." They went inside, put Thomas Takota in the cradle Marcus had built, watched him sleep for a while, marveling at the miracle of new life. Then they lay down together, held each other, and slept the sleep of people who have fought hard and earned their rest. Outside the creek ran clear and strong. The spring that had been the source of so much conflict now provided life to everyone who needed it. No longer fought over, shared instead. In the distance, mountains stood eternal, the same mountains that had watched violence and death, now watching peace and life. The land remembered blood. But Cole was right. It remembered other things too. It remembered forgiveness, remembered courage, remembered the slow, hard work of building bridges. And in the valley where Cole and Ayesha Mackenzie raised their family, where children of all colors learned and played together, where old enemies became unlikely allies, the land remembered most of all the simple truth that had saved them, that the past does not have to determine the future, that broken people can heal each other, that love, real love, the kind built on honesty and choice and daily recommitment, is stronger than hate. That spring always comes, even after the longest, darkest winter. Spring always comes, and with it, hope. The end.